You are Daniel Daley. December 28, 2019 by Anna von Reitz. Pretend for a couple minutes that you are a man called Daniel Daley and this is your story. As a young man, you start a company, and for lack of more imagination, you call it the Daniel Daley Company. It's a big success and people use your company's services all the time. Then you go on a business trip and are lost at sea. Your affairs are left in the hands of your business partners. They decide, in your absence, to incorporate the Daniel Daley Company under a Scottish-issued charter and Articles of Incorporation very similar to your original business plan and mission statement, except of course, that an incorporated entity is owned by the government issuing its charter and is eligible for bankruptcy protection and is subject, in turn, to Scottish law. This process of incorporation turns your private business into a public business. All the assets that the Daniel Daley Company owned are converted into assets owned by the Daniel Daley Company, Incorporated. And instead of being a private American company operating in the realm of international trade, your business is now operating as a Scottish corporation in the realm of global commerce. Now, your friends, the board of directors, who are doing all this for you, in your absence, don't really have any permission to do any of this, but because they don't have any real authority they also don't have any accountability. They claim to represent you and since you aren't present to nix their activities and nobody really questions their claims, they get away with it. They figure you are dead, so whatever they do is their business, and they can do whatever they wish with the Daniel Daley Company, Incorporated. So, that's what they do. They use your company's assets to capitalize the Scottish corporation, then they run up huge bills against your good name and credit, so huge that they finally have to seek bankruptcy protection and liquidation. They, your erstwhile buddies, have become very rich off this process. So rich that they decide to take another spin. So, without missing a beat, they go to the state of Delaware, and open up another corporation named, you guessed it, the Daniel Daley Company, Inc., reinvest the profit they made off the first bankruptcy, and do the same thing all over again. The only difference between the Scottish Corporation and the State of Delaware Corporation is that the little word "the" is made part of the corporation's name in Scotland, the Daniel Daley Company, Inc., and the Delaware version as Daniel Daley Company, Inc. These names look very similar on paper and are indistinguishable in conversation, so people easily mistake one for the other, and they also mistake these corporations for your original company and also begin to just shorten the name in common parlance to Dan Daley, like this. The Dan Daley took a hit at the trade conference. We'll make the Dan Daley into a tourist destination. The Dan Daley will succeed in its bid to take over Amazon. The years flow by. And one day a passing ship sees you sitting on your desert island, picks you up, and before you know it, you are in New York again. The world has changed. You've changed. Your old friends don't recognize you anymore. But everyone knows your name. You are aghast at what your friends have done to your good name and your company. You go to them and say, WTH? And they say, well. So you invoke your ownership rights and move to extract all your assets from the incorporated version back into the original company structure, and you have just begun this process when another bankruptcy hits, so now you are dealing with the bankruptcy trustees and they don't know who you are from Adam. They look at you and they remark, this guy's name is Daniel Daley. Weird coincidence, right? You explain that it isn't a coincidence at all, that in fact the original company and the later corporations were all named after you, and that these run amok organizations and all their assets actually belong to you. And there you stand, Daniel Daley, original issuer, holder in due course, primary priority creditor of the whole messed up shebang, and nobody knows what to do. All the debts run up by the purported secondaries to your company and estate can't be attached to you or to assets actually belonging to you, because the secondaries had no authority to act for you in the first place and neither the Scottish government nor the state of Delaware had any authority to convert your assets, either. So, the actual assets have to go back to you, the debts incurred, in your name, and against your estate have to be discharged as odious debts, and all of this creates vast confusion because Dan Daley has become a household word, yet nobody knows which Dan Daley or Daniel Daley Company we are talking about at any given moment. This is the situation, unfortunately, with both the US and the USA. Just plug in United States or United States of America for Dan Daley and see what you will see. It's the same story. The same mess. The Queen and the Pope and their minions staffing the various congresses in D.C. are synonymous with the reckless friends who took over and ran the Daniel Daley Company, purportedly for you. And now it is up to you to step back into your own shoes, assert your rights and interests as the actual owner, and sort this mess out, for your own sake and for the sake of everyone else in the world. Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. Now before you click off. Help support this work by visiting www.annavonreitz.com and look for the donate button. Here is a simple tool for humanity to preempt colds, flu and relieve seasonal allergies. Use coupon code ANNAYouTube to get 10% off and 20% gets donated to help support Anna Von Reitz. Watch the videos at wellnessrods.com for more information. Links to this article and more can be found in the video description box.